Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and we are on the map Land of Fire, battle duration 4 minutes 49 seconds, back in Convoy mode. And as you can see, the cruiser I've been talking about, especially from yesterday's video, that I think is a fantastic cruiser for Convoy, is the Tier 8 Italian cruiser, the Amalfi. This ship is just suited for so many different roles. I would say, whether you are on the attacking team, like we are in today's video, or on the defensive role. Just because her sap is so strong, you have torpedoes, you have the crawling smoke screen, and really good maneuverability and speed for this cruiser. Now this is a cruiser I do not have on my main server, though I'm grinding the Italian cruiser line right now. And I'm definitely wanting to get to the Amalfi before the 10.8 patch hits, where Convoy mode will drop and arrive in the main server, because this ship is just so much fun to play in Convoy. And you're going to see that in actually not one, not two, but three different videos. This video, I think it was the shortest battle I had. Yeah, I think it was this one. And then the second one's really short, and the third one's a little bit longer, but it is the best game I've had in Amalfi. So it's kind of showing off the different maps in which you can be playing Convoy mode, but then also discussing, again, what I highlighted in yesterday's video with the Massachusetts. It's playing the objective and positioning. I'm still watching videos and playing these battles. I'm still seeing players struggle to understand these two concepts, especially the objective. I mean, look what this Tirpitz is doing on the enemy team. He's just sailed north. He's sailing away from the convoy, and now he's turning out and away. He's literally just going the opposite direction the convoy is going. And now he's not the only ship that's going to be doing that in this battle. We're also going to have, I believe it's the Albemarle, a cruiser following up behind him, who's also going to do the exact same thing. Now, I would say that this map is kind of crap for the defending team to a certain regard, but I mean, it is winnable. It's not like the map's that bad. But now we have the Albemarle pushing up, getting a nice little sap salvo in there on the stern. And now he's turning out away, following in the footsteps of the Tirpitz. Like, that island just does that because players don't want to turn into the attacking team, and so they just turn out. So going north, if you're on the defending team on this map, just don't go north. You want to stick with the convoy in this battle, because it's very likely that you'll lose, because if you're a player and you go like what the Tirpitz and the Albemarle is doing, is you're basically depending on your teammates to be able to effectively defend the convoy. And that's putting a lot of faith in your teammates. And that is something in World Warships where, you know, the joke is when you play randoms, it's 1 versus 23 instead of 12 versus 12. So we're being able to use the islands there as we push down. And this is like the vital key point right here. This is where, when the cruisers come out, or the transports, you just punish them. Unfortunately, we get juked here by the Convoy. Our sap salvo goes too far forward. It's slowing down more quickly than I realized. But then we have the Liberty, so I'm going to switch to him. And the sap on Amalfi just wrecks the transports. Like, just wrecks them so hard. I mean, you can see here how he has any health left now as he's smoke screen and we're not able to see him. And that's the nice thing when you have the torpedoes, and especially since they're 12-kilometer torpedoes with that spread, you just get to fire them in general direction. Like, I could have already switched to my starboard side and launched those torpedoes. But we're just focusing on keeping the guns online. So now, hoping to get rid of this Convoy. Again, he stopped juked us, so he is aware. He knows what he's doing. And he's doing basically all he can to keep his buddies alive down here, and the transports alive. But Void is going to step up to the plate, and he's just going to do something pretty phenomenal here, as I'll stop talking for a moment. He got a triple kill. Well, unfortunately, you don't get rewarded for that in Convoy. but just killed 3 of them instantly. And look how fast that ended. And that was because they hardly had only, what, 2-3 players are actually defending the convoy. So when you go north, it's just you're depending on your team to carry if you're on the defending team, and you not playing the objective. You're not playing the objective, and your positioning is just poor and sucks. Even if you think you're keeping the enemy team, the attacking team, distracted or busy, no, when you come out to that point there, you just get to obliterate the convoy and transports. Especially in Amalfi, with 2 good, accurate salvos can instantly wipe out a transport with the 20,000. No, not. Well, it'd probably take 3 salvos if we're being honest. I've done 10,000k salvos to the transports, but usually they have, I think it's 20,000 HP. And I've heard that it's also been stated that previously they had 40,000 HP. So I don't know if Wargaming changed that or whatever. I didn't catch that quite. But yeah, like it was that easy to win this battle. So we'll go ahead and roll on into the next one. So this is going to be on the map Labyrinth, and the battle duration is 5 minutes and 32 seconds. Now keep this in mind, that's like when the game starts, like there's going to be about 45 seconds or so before we actually even engage the enemy team. So it's less than a 5-minute battle. That's how quick some of these battles end. And this is also a really good map for cruisers because the island is ahead of me. To my 12 o'clock. There's a low part on the backside of the island that you can use to get some free salvos off. So since Void and Doom and I, Void's Destroyer, Doom's and Cruiser, we're going to go and move in on the 6-7 line area versus just moving straight down the 4-5 line because, you know, we don't have the tankiness to be able to just straight up engage. I mean, our battleships can, but again, you want to find the intercept point in your positioning, how to best intercept the convoy. Because again, the enemy team is going to be tempted. Do they actually stick with the convoy and defending them, or do they just abandon the convoy and just start sailing straight north, like let's say up the 3-4-5 line, right? And then we are able to engage and take out the convoy just because the convoy is undefended, or not defended very well at least. Now the division of 3, I think, is so fun. It's so fun to be able to do this with your friends, your clanmates, and I really hope that when this does go live that Wargaming doesn't take away the division option or they limit it to 2. But with 3 people in division, I mean, you're almost half the team. You notice, even if you're on your own, that you alone have an impact, significance on the battle, like ranked, depending on the season and the tier sometimes. But it's just really a type of a game mode where you can feel like you as a player actually play a big role. So I'm using the low part, backside of this island, and I kind of second guess, like, oh, maybe I should slow down, get another salvo off. But then I decided I want to go ahead and move up because we have the Kiev is pushing up, and I want to do my best that I can help support Doom and Void as they move closer and setting up an ambush position. And again, this part of the island has a low part on it, so I can actually just park here, and I can also shoot undetected. So we have, you know, first transport there, we have Harlem, so just kind of getting rid of him because of his airstrike. So try to see if we can't do some damage there. I could have probably taken that salvo on the enemy transport as well. But because of the position Void and Doom are in, I want to do my best to support them here from the rear behind them. Now, if you notice, we've had one battleship is actually going south. I believe it's the Lenin. And the enemy team is sending 2 battleships up the 3 line. So that's actually not good. Now, I want to just include this specific clip because I want to focus on the Amalfi as like the transport killing ship. So just wrecked that transport, and being able to use the crawling smoke, you know, we're able to kind of pull out, and we get these really good opportunities to just wreck the transports. The Amalfi is so good at this role that to me, like, you know, you see me dumping the torpedoes. I let Void know that torps are on the way, so he said he was going to start reversing. But in this role of just focusing on the transports, you can just see how much health we're able to shave off. Yeah, there's a 9,000 salvo, and now he's dead. And the Linen, actually up to the north on the 4 line, was actually, he took the shot. So he's actually still playing the objective, even though there's 2 distracted battleships approaching him.
Don't fire at your allies.
And Void still managed to eat one of those torpedoes, I think, because he had to get out of the way, because the Harlem has hydroacoustic search, so I'm trying to move up and support him. So I actually switched to armor piercing because he was showing a decent side here. But unfortunately, we're going to lose Void to the enemy Bismarck. And then I've got AP reloaded, or reloading. I should already have been switched to SAP, but you get to see an example here of what armor piercing will do to the transport versus SAP. But SAP is definitely the way to go when you're taking on the enemy team. Now, or just transports. Now, the other thing that's really neat about the Amalfi is when you are on the defending team, you get to use your smoke, your creeping smoke, to help defend the transports. So I just dumped this torp set on the second transport because the first one we're going to kill. But Amalfi is plays a really good role in defending the transports when you can use your smoke screen and move along with them. Like, it helps keep some transports alive that way in a match. It wasn't last night or the night before last when I was playing these battles, because every time I took Amalfi, I was on the attacking team. So that's what you're seeing today, and you're seeing the I don't know how to phrase this. You're just seeing the capability, the strength of Amalfi, and taking on the enemy transports. Like, there's only one left. Void's like, hey, there's a destroyer around the island. You might want to move up and kill him. But I was like, oh, there's no need. We have SAP. And now, even though we've lost most of our team, dead. Because there was no one hardly even shooting at me, sitting in that position. So I was able to just sit out there and just focus on farming the transports and pull a victory out. So again, Amalfi is just a super strong ship for Convoy. If you don't have her, I really recommend grinding to get to her on your main server, because this is on the public test server, featuring these battles. And I'm going to be grinding to get Amalfi here over the weekend. So over 1,500 base experience with the 4 destroyed. And then going into the detailed report, we'll see a breakdown, kind of showing you the damage that we did to those transports. So yeah, 14,000, 14,000, 2,000, 14,000. So, I mean, and that's only in just a couple salvos, like 2 to 3 salvos. We're pulling up big numbers. I mean, 1 salvo alone have done 10,000 damage to the Liberty, to the transports. So, I could see the transports maybe needing a little bit of a health boost, just because we've just been able to wreck the enemy team every time. Because the transports, they're what's the phrasing? The Atlantic battle duration 848. They're squishy. That's the word I'm looking for. So now I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward it, because you start off pretty far away, because this is a pretty big map. So it takes some time to get caught up. The one thing I'm actually going to notice is quite humorous here as we move up and get some more spotting on an enemy team, is the enemy carrier. The enemy carrier right now, if you look on the mini map, and I'm going to note this in chat, is sailing towards A1. Why does he need to sail to A1? If you're a carrier and you're with your team, you don't need to sail to whatever top corner, bottom corner of the map. Just find an island that will give you good cover, because as the carrier player, he's going to be so far away with the time interval between his squadrons that he's not going to actually be able to really help his team for the most part. So now on this map, the key for the attacking team is attacking the convoy on the 9-10 line. You don't want to be going out into the 5-6-7 line in the, let's say, C to D area, because you're just you're wasting time. We have a destroyer that's moving up, spotting. He's kind of attacking pretty early. And I actually don't remember if he even survives or makes it through or not. RCV's giving him fighter coverage. I'm able to disengage and go behind this island and go dark, pop back out, take another salvo as I move up. But my goal right now is to get up to a B9 C9. That's the area I'm aiming for, especially B9, because it's such a perfect ambush point with the torpedoes. We'll be able to pump out the Amalfi. I mean, they're relatively quick reloading. The sap's going to be really good. So it's just all in all going to be really beneficial. Now, Tirpitz, let's see, he's in E7. He doesn't really need to be down there. I mean, you can, as a player, move up to, let's say, D7. Is it D7? No, where Doom is at right now. You can sit at the island and your broadside's completely protected. And you get to actually farm the enemy team as they move out between the 7 and 9 line on the A line. Especially if you're in a battleship, let's say you're something like the Linen. I think that's probably a good position, setting up the crossfire as they kind of sail out in the open there. But your main focus should be on the 9-10 line. So I've told Void this, and as well as Doom, and Void is actually moving up along with me. He wanted to test out, I think he's in the Italian battleship, the Veneto. He wanted to test it out and see how it handled. And so you can see that in a little action. I think the sap is a little too powerful on the Veneto because it just overpins for the most part on the cruisers, or the transports, sorry. But still a good ship. But I think Amalfi just is really good. And when you take a cruiser, your queue time is just so slow, or your queue time is much quicker for loading into the battle, because most players are taking battleships. So if you take a cruiser, you're going to drop in much quicker. So I popped smoke here because I was hoping to be able to get some shots off on the transports. Unfortunately, the transports are not detected. I think they may be smoked up right now. Transports do smoke themselves up in just different time intervals, iterations, depending on what's happening around them. So, let's see. Yeah, our Tirpitz is he's moving along the 8 line right now, and we're gonna move up to the 9-10 spot. We just lost Doom to Tirpitz secondaries. And you're going to be able to see. So we had this Bismarck who's broke out from the pack, and he's kind of moving down this narrow channel. So I have to make sure to stay angled towards him. Now when I come out, I can see his guns aren't facing towards me. And then he's going to start maneuvering his rudder to try to get his guns on me. But I'm going to stay angled in and use this island up in front of me. Now you're going to notice, as a spoiler alert, when we kill all the enemy team ships here, what type of position that puts the rest of the enemy team in that's out on the CD6-7 line area. Because it's a huge benefit to us when there's more enemy ships out there in the open. So torpedoes are reloading, Void slowing down. He knows I'm about to dump these torpedoes across his bow. As the rocks take most of those. But my goal is to try to get rid of the Bismarck. So I probably should have dumped those a little further back, but I didn't want to hit the rocks. So Void's taking a lot of the damage right now as I'm able to maneuver from behind. And I want to try to get a sap salvo, get a little bit more further past Void, but weird turret hits him. We get 3 torps and really chunked the Bismarck down on his HP, but he's got a heal going, and he's actually proved to be really difficult for us to kill. One thing I needed to do is actually aim a little bit higher with my sap. You can see I got 2 penetrations there, but this next salvo I'm about to fire isn't going to give me as many penetrations because I didn't raise my shots high enough, because the belt is just sturdy enough on the Bismarck where you see we got 5 non-penetrations, 1 penetration. And the, I think it's, yeah, Vladivostok coming behind us finishes him off. So the Tirpitz has disengaged, he's gone to the island. And now it's just the Baltimore to focus on taking out.
Fighter airborne. The ship
So I'm gonna try to save my salvos here. I'm only going to do what's needed. So actually it's going to take 2 salvos to kill the Baltimore. And then it keeps us to have the 3rd turret here to take on the next transport. Now, up close and personal, our secondaries do a really good job. So we're just going to let the transports work over that, or secondaries work over that transport. And you can see I'm continuing to look behind me because I'm actually using the islands to my left, port side, to keep the island between me and the enemy ships. And that just allows me to just farm these transports for free. Now the Prince Eugen is actually in a position to be able to shoot me, but he's not engaging me. He's I think he's distracted by our destroyer around in the DE8 line. And this is the strength on this map when you're the attacking team, and you just move up the 9-10 line, and you choose to have the engagement here on this corner. And it proves to be really strong and reliable because the enemy team is not able to do much. So if you're on the defending team, you don't want to get caught out in the middle open area like that, especially if there's players like myself and a few others who know of the vulnerability of when you're able to just take out the enemy convoy on the A or B, C 9-10 line. So we actually do really good. This is actually the best match I had in Amalfi. So we did 126,000 damage. I think this best match overall, most damage too. 5 destroyed, several torpedo hits. Secondary 69, 2 fire set, and over 2,100 base experience and topping the team. So Amalfi is just a ridiculously good ship for convoy mode. So I just highly recommend you grinding Amalfi. If you don't have the ship, if you do, you're going to enjoy using Amalfi, especially when you focus on its role in taking out the enemy transports. And then when you're on the attacking team. So yeah, so this was the longest, one of my longer battles I've had so far on the public test server for Convoys. And it was a lot of fun. So I think we played 8 or 9 battles, won every one. And I even tested out Hipper. Hipper's all right. Baltimore's okay, but I think you're able to just punch out more damage per minute in Amalfi between you kind of seeing me get close using the torpedoes, the sap, just wrecking the transports. So Amalfi's a good cruiser, and of the cruisers I've played so far, I've even played the Cleveland. I played the Cleveland, Baltimore, Hipper. I think I've played. I don't know if I played Anchorage, but Amalfi stands out from all of them as being the best cruiser, and I think she's she's what you want to take when convoys arrive on the main servers in 10.8, I believe. So yeah, so it's good stuff. So if you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe if you do want to see more, and if you already subscribed, thanks so much, and we will catch you next time. Take care.